beautiful people, and welcome to my channel. My name is Stella, aka The Dweller, and I'm an Abuja based YouTuber. I make videos on hair wig tutorials, but once in a while I get to make other tutorials that are not hair wig related. I equally get to make business finance videos and personal development videos, personal development in different aspects, like my YouTube channel, live, and things of that nature. But basically, I'm a hair wig content creator. So if this is your first time on my channel, you're definitely welcome. I hope you enjoy what you see, and you get subscribed and be a part of the family. It will really mean so much to me. And to my return subscribers, you guys are the real MVP. Anyways, so the gist in town is that the country that makes most closures and frontals have been on shutdown for a really long period. So there's scarcity of closures, scarcity of frontals, and all that stuff. That being said, today's tutorial is going to be about this wig I have on. This tutorial is going to show how I made this wig I have on from start to finish, and how I created the closure look it has myself. I want to believe the tutorial I'm going to show you guys today is going to be of importance to you guys, because with the whole shutdown thing going on in Korea, which I heard is the main country that makes frontal and closures, one would need to learn how to improvise, so start being creative, and being creative in a really nice way with a really beautiful outcome. Now that is that for the intro and all the extra talk. Let's jump right into the video, guys. So on my recap, I put this dome kind of recap on it, and the idea behind doing so is to dodge the process of sewing a lace net on the crown area. And as you guys can see, it's obviously my skin tone. Another importance I figured out later was that with this, you don't need to sew on a hairband. Like this dome kind of recap just makes the wig fit on your head properly. And the hair I'll be using for this tutorial is Darling Mongolian kinky in 22 inches. So here I'm just going to, start sewing like I would sew any other regular wig. So as I started going up, I used a chalk to draw lines on the recap. Now this chalk is going to guide me to just make my sewing straight and make the placement of the weave-on on the wig mannequin really easy. The chalk I used here is a type these tailors use for sewing clothes. It's not the type that is used on the chalkboard. No, I got it from a tailor's shop. It's really affordable, like say 15 naira or something like that. And as you can see, the spaces between the line are really apart, and when you're making a wig, you need to check the amount of weave-on you have on you, and then use it to calculate how you are going to sew it on your wig cap. And aside that, this weave-on is obviously a full one, so it's not something I would want to start sewing them close to each other, because it's going to get too full and it would be inconveniencing wearing it. I also forgot to mention that I used a pack in making this wig. So as I got to the crown area, I wanted to give it an exact U shape, which is what I'm trying to measure here. As you can see, the crown doesn't come out as a proper U. But what I'm trying to do here is to see how I can get it to have a proper U, so that every other sewing I'm going to be doing afterwards in the crown area will come out well shaped. You know, when it comes to making of wigs, how well you place your weave on the wig cap or the wig mannequin will determine how well your hair is going to come out. So proper placement is very, very important. So as you can see, this line I'm sewing now is really close to the line below it, and you know, it's because, like I said earlier, I want to get an exact U shape, which just goes to show us that the major area I needed to work on was on the side. But obviously I'm not just going to sew the side and leave the back, so I had to sew the back as well. But in getting that U shape, the back came really close to the line below it. So as I worked on this part of the crown area, I sewed from the front, unlike the other parts of the crown area where I sewed from the back. Like as you can see now, this side of the crown area is facing me and I'm sewing from there. The idea behind doing so is so that I can control the movement of my needle and the space on both sides comes out equal. Now as you can see, I've given the crown area a proper U shape and the space on both sides are equal. You know, you don't want any parts bulkier than the other parts. That's like any side bulkier than the other side. So here I'm just going to follow that same U shape and keep moving on the crown. And like I said earlier, proper placement of weave-on your wig is really important. As you can see, I'm making sure I place I'm making sure I place properly first before I go ahead and sew. That would help me ensure I get the exact shape or direction I want the weave-on to go on the wig cap. Now please note that the spacing used in making this wig, that's the spacing of sewing in making this wig, was determined by the type of hair and the amount of hair I had. It's not standard. It will not necessarily apply to you when you're making your own hair, unless you're using the same type of hair and you're using the same number of packs I used, which in this case I used just one pack. One pack was enough to make this full wig. So this is the second line I'm sewing after I created the U shape on the crown area, and as you can see, I'm sewing it close to that line that separates the two sides on the crown area. Like I always say in my videos, this wig cap is my favorite because it makes the process of wig making really easy. It has all the different areas mapped out. You have the crown area, the center, this and that. You know, it just makes everything really easy. So now I'm working on the third and the last line, which I sewed after I created the U shape. And as you can see, I'm placing the weft directly on both sides of that line, the line on the wig cap that separates the two sides of the crown area. I'm placing the weft on each opposite end of that line. And if you notice, the way I'm sewing here is different. I'm making my needle go in a sideways direction. The idea in doing so is to make sure my needle doesn't catch too much material and then the weft will go higher than it's supposed to or lower than it's supposed to. When I'm making the needle go sideways, it will ensure it's on the same line I want. It will ensure the weft is on the same line I want it to be. And which is what I tried to explain when I was working on the other parts that gave us the U shape. You know, the other part I mentioned that I said I was sewing in front of it. That's why I was sewing in front, so that I can watch the direction my needle goes. So my needle doesn't take the, you know, the weave-on higher and then one side of the crown is slimmer than the other side. So now I'm done with the sideways sewing. I went back into sew normally. You know, the regular or normal sewing when one is sewing a weave-on is from up to down, like up down or down up. So after the sideways sewing, I went back and did the regular sewing, because at this point now I already have my weft placed how I want it to be. So this regular sewing is not going to push my weft up or push it down. And the regular type of sewing would also be useful for when I want to create my closure proper, and that was why I couldn't just, you know, use the sideways sewing and be okay with it. Finally, I passed the needle below, so the place I knot the thread is hidden. Now we've gotten to the point of working on the closure properly. What I'm doing here is I'm passing a crochet pin and I'm dragging her out from the line below, and which is why if you notice the line below was really sewn closely to, you know, the our last line. So what I'm doing basically is passing her from down to up, and because of the nature of this hair, it's a synthetic hair, with every hair I pulled from below, I had to comb or brush it to smoothen it, you know, as with synthetic hairs they can easily tangle and things of that nature. So I just continued pulling out hairs, then I went from one side to the next side and repeated the same step. But before I went to the other side, I used bobby pins to hold it, so you know the hairs from one side doesn't disturb my pulling out at the other side. At this point, I'd gotten tired of combing after every pull out, so I waited till I'd pulled out all the hairs I needed to pull out before I then went ahead and combed everything out. Now as you're pulling out, make sure you know you don't pull out hairs from the bottom and bring it out at the top. You get, wherever you're pulling out hair from, it should be the same area you bring it out from, and try and pull out as much hairs as you can. Basically pull out all the hairs from the lower line to the top line. So I sprayed got to be spray on the hair because this is a synthetic hair and I moved it from its real position, so I needed the spray to let it lay properly on this new position, and then I used bobby pins to hold the hair together while it dried. So now it's dry. The next thing I did was to spray a little water on where I had sprayed the got to be initially to dampen the hold of the got to be. Then I applied my eco styling gel. The gel, now I use it to style the closure the way I want it to come out. And this process here is kind of like a big deal because the styling here is going to be what will make our closure come out the way we want it to come out. Now if you notice, the movement of my comb is downwards, like I'm dragging the comb down, and the idea of doing so is to really make the hair sleep in a downward position while also covering all the necessary spaces that should be covered, so that you know the fact that we pulled out hair from below to the top isn't going to be obvious at all. So this movement of my comb downwards is really important. Now if you notice, as I'm combing the hair, I'm equally moving the comb in the downward position, so it's more like downward comb, downward comb, downward comb, something like that. So that was what I did basically, and after I did it on this side, I went on to the next side and did the same thing. But as always, before I went to the next side, I used a bobby pin to hold the side I had done, so that you know what I did was going to be in place till the hair dries properly. I should also point out that this thing I'm doing here, that's using the gel to style it and lay the hair flat and all that stuff, can be done with the heat from your coiling iron. But this is a synthetic hair, and well, it might be able to stand heat. I can't say because I didn't try it. But then these days, using any of these heat appliances isn't usually my first line of thought when it comes to laying a hair flat and things of that nature. Like my first line of thought is always hair gels, sprays and stuff like that. So at this point guys, you can see I am done and I've achieved what I wanted to achieve. Like the closure part now looks more defined. Guys, I don't even know why I'm combing the hair here, because after wearing the hair is still going to scatter. But anyways, so, and yes, I'm removing the pins because obviously I'm not going to leave the pins there. Well, I can actually leave the pins there, but I didn't need to. Then I went in with my powder to let the parts really blend with my skin, and voila guys, this is the hair. This is our hair. So thank you for watching till the end. I hope you really enjoyed what you saw. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel so you get to see more videos like this, and you know, other videos which I can assure you you're really going to enjoy, because basically I make really useful videos with tangible information. So subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, share to those you know might enjoy what you just saw. You know, do not hoard this knowledge to yourself. Share it. Anyways, that is that. Till next time, guys, stay blessed, stay out of trouble, stay beautiful, stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe. and all the good things of life. Bye bye.